Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Prismata. Let's jump in here and try to ruin this streak, huh? Skits again. Base +5. Now... Venge does not look right here. Does it? Like, what exactly is the defense against Venge? Just like having more efficient attackers, I guess. Like Flame Animus and Blood Phage is a pretty big deal. I think. Especially with like Nitrocide as another way to like let you to float red, letting you, I don't know, you don't even need to float red when you're building Flame Animus, right? Like this just seems pretty good. Flame Animus into Cybes, and like you have access to a ton of green for force fields if you need it against the Venge player. So I think red-blue should be better than green here. I'm surprised he didn't cut for the Blast Forge though. You usually do that with the Flame Animus. It's just so valuable to get it out, and it's so slow to get out that you usually want to cut for it. And especially since you're going to want to keep building Flame Animuses like basically forever. Having tempo on the first one is a big deal because you don't want to have to break for a wall. I don't know, is he going to try to Venge here? Use like Synth Venge? Yeah, interesting. Well, that should be fun, huh? I don't think that's working very well, but maybe. I assume he builds a, like, I don't know. He's not building a Venge here, but... if he does, I can wall. If he doesn't, I can just keep building Flame Animuses and Blood Phages, which seems pretty gross, right? I'm not sure like what the game plan is here. Are we going for a lot of Venges? A Synth doesn't seem right if you want a small number, so I guess it's a lot. A lot. Yeah, okay. Yeah, a lot of Venges. I guess he'll have 9 green next turn. That is pretty serious, huh? Wow, that is pretty serious. Jeez. Hang on. That's not very nice at all. We probably don't want another Flame Animus. Probably just a Splitter is enough. We need to start doing damage to this guy. Holy cow. I never, like, thought that Synth into Venge would be that good, but actually, like, you get it out a ton of green? This way? I don't know. We'll see, I guess. You should Force Field here, I think? Ah, but then you can't, you need another Conduit if you're doing that in order to convert into 5 Venges next turn. And another Drone, which you can't do. So I'm glad I built a Splitter instead of another Flame Animus. It is sort of urgent to address this threat. And making him build more than just a wall is a big deal. I mean, I guess... What? Red? And not defending. What is this? Is this okay? I kind of want to get a Synth at some point so I can start building force fields. Because he's about to convert every single drone. Except then what's the deal with the Animus? I just don't get it. Yeah, I think I want access to force fields. I'm gonna need a lot of them to withstand these Venges. And having like 5 attack per turn is pretty good. But I don't get it. Like, he's building 5 Venges, leaves him 10 bucks. Splitter? Or maybe Synth? I don't understand what the red is for. Nitrocides? Why? I'm killing a Synth this turn, obviously. He really loves his green, so we don't want him to have it. Boy, it's a lot of damage over there. Right, that's 10. Yeah, 2 force fields is just defending. I don't get this Animus. Like, shouldn't he build a Synth now? Nitrocides. They're, like, awful for him, aren't they? I guess it's 2 more pressure I'll have to deal with when he next clicks his Venges. But wouldn't just, like, another Conduit have been good? Or a Synth or something to let him buy... Let him have more green, click his Venges more? I think he should still build a Synth this turn. Wait, that's strictly... Well, no, it's not strictly worse than Synth. It does have more health. But it costs more money. I guess what is he ever doing with his money again, right? Yeah, he basically invested $8 in doing 2 damage in 3 turns. Which seems pretty bad, right? Something like this? I'd like to build Nitrocides, but I think with Blood Phages it's better to just buy the Engies with the money. Yeah. And over the course of 2 turns, we can take out a Venge Cannon. Should buy us some breathing room. Or actually, I guess we're probably killing like a Gauss Charge or something. Something like this. Actually, we could do this. Lets me buy 1 less force field this turn, so I have an extra $1. And I can still kill this Venge Cannon next turn. Unless he holds the Nitrocides, but that's fine with me if he wants to do that. Isn't it? It's basically giving me more Gauss Charges to kill. Yeah. It's basically letting me spend another turn before I have to build a force field, which is fine with me. Okay, that's 1 Venge Cannon down. think that's worth doing. What if I said to do this instead? I could cut out a force field, I guess. Still threaten to kill this later. Wow, that's actually a serious concern. That engineer supply. Okay, well, what if I built one nitrocide instead of an NG or something? I mean, I could do that twice to save engineer supply, I guess. No. Okay, good. I have a lot of time on my clock. I just realized I wasn't sure. This is pretty complicated stuff here. I think this is a good way to preserve engineer supply. But if I'm doing this, I really shouldn't have damaged the Venge Cannon earlier, right? Man, I don't know. Yeah, I think I just need to get one of these Venge Cannons out of here, right? Two less damage every turn is pretty good. But then when am I ever getting... Well, maybe with triple force field I can squeeze out some nitrocides eventually. Ah, he doesn't have as many charges this turn, I forgot. Because he doesn't have that much green. Okay, I like that. Yeah, okay, I think we have this under control now. But, you know, don't count your chickens before they're hatched, I guess. 7 damage. I could do this. Alright, got him. Well, that's a scary graph for sure. Just like sort of peaked at 5, but of course, you know, the economy graph tells the other side of the picture. So the side of the story, I guess. Yeah, so Synth into Venge is more exciting than I realized, and so I should have given that a bit more respect. I thought about it, but it just seems like, do you really want to do that? Blue is not that great for Venge. I feel like my opponent made a few mistakes in the line, and so... If, like, this Animus, what on earth, right? Like... You could, like, cut the Animus to let you force field... Well, no. You cut the Animus to, like, hold a drone, build a drone? No, because you're... yeah. You only have 1 NG. You can't build 2 drones this turn. It's actually quite hard to get to 5 Venges this way without losing the wall, which was a pretty disastrous thing to happen. Could we have built an engineer last turn? Yeah, maybe instead of the second synth, get a wall or something. Realizing that you're gonna have to actually defend for a while. But then you can't, like, get the Avenges so early. I don't know. There's no, like, obvious, immediate thing he clearly did wrong, from my point of view. Maybe there is, but I'm not a good enough player to see it. But this seems like a reasonable way to threaten 15 drone Venge. And then it just sort of, like, falls apart when you attack it for 4. The Animus, obviously, I think, glaring error. Could have been anything else and it would have been better. Conduit. I don't know. I think, like, my line of cutting drone for Blast Forge into Flame Animus, more drones, and then Blood Phages is good. There, as I mentioned in the beginning, there's like tons of stuff to do with your red. I'm a little surprised I had to stop at just 5 attack. But I mean, that's 5 Venges for you, I guess. I'm glad I got the synth. It really did help quite a lot. More than pre-buying a wall would have helped, I think. Yeah, certainly. And killing that synth on my first opportunity, I think, was good. I could have considered at some point, like, when, well, I guess it was really my only option because everything else was golden armored, so sure, of course he killed the synth. I could have considered at some later time when I damaged his Venge Cannon, like here, I could have said, hey, what about killing that synth? But of course that's impossible if I'm killing Gauss charges. So I could have, like, here, now killed a synthesizer, but... And then he never would have the 6 Gauss charge turn, it would always be 3. But Venge Cannons are not a very efficient way to spend your green. I'd rather just kill the Venge Cannons than kill the synthesizer. Or kill the Gauss charges or something. Anything but this. The synth is just, like, the wrong target. We don't need to take away his green, we need to take away his attack. I think it would have been an interesting try here for him to hold a single Nitrocide so I can't kill a Venge Cannon. The 1 extra attack is not really that exciting for him, I don't think. I would have breached the Nitrocide and killed a bunch of Gauss charges instead, so, you know, it's not like amazing value for him. But it does stop me from killing the cannon, which is a big deal. And I finally realized about now that it was time to switch to Nitrocides. I should have taken the Engineer supply warning more seriously earlier and started doing this on one of his... like on this turn, right? If I, like, cut 2 of these Engineers... Well, he's gonna have 8 green next turn. Maybe this is the time that I actually want Engineers in a hurry and not Nitrocides eventually. Right, and then this turn here is when next turn he'll only have 3 Gauss charges, right? He's only attacking for 11. I can cut these Engineers to build Nitrocides instead for the same price. They're like a worse unit, but they preserve my Engineer supply, which is severely limited. If 2 of these Engineers are Nitrocides, I think I'd be a better spot. Yeah, I'm only using 1 of these, right? And so if I force fielded, I would have to force field here to make that work, instead of droning. But then I wouldn't have this Engineer supply issue, like, threatening to eventually lose me the game. Alright, well, let's get another game in. What are these? Oh, this is just like, he's just saying he had to quit in the middle of the game. I was like, my mechanic called me. I couldn't figure out, like, what game mechanic he was talking about, but no, he meant, like, the guy who was working on his car or something. Someone got his first win. Congratulations. This game is hard to learn without all the info other people have already learned. Yeah, well, you've got I've got a YouTube series to recommend to you if that's a problem for you. No games live. What's going on? I gotta play some games. Any kid ranked? I'm sure some of you did not watch the video or have forgotten the video many episodes ago where I explained the any kid ranked joke. There's a guy who goes in-game by the name of the Trump Wall. He goes by Cooled Cannon on online, but on like the Discord and so on. And he just like has his own slang that he uses that no one else uses. In particular, he's always calling everyone kid, like the player one kid, the green kid. And when he's sitting in a queue and can't find anyone to play against, he just sort of says, any kid rated. And it took me forever to understand that, like, what he means is there anyone out there who can play in the rated, who can play a rated game against me, please? So, I don't know, I thought maybe saying the magic words would get me a match sooner. So what the heck is this all about? Barrier seems weak because there's a ton of freeze. Chieftain also seems bad because of all the freeze. Mobile Animus into Ice Blades is kind of cool. Is that more like a player 1 or a player 2 thing? Also, though, that just like seems like it'll lose against Tantalum Rays. Maybe? I don't know. You can get to their drones. They can't really save their drones very well. But I mean, looks like a pretty modest economy size here. Chieftain helps a little, but again, there's a lot of counters to Chieftain if your opponent has any access to red. Right, so I'd sort of like, I don't know, 13, 14 drones, maybe 15. And with that, what exactly are you building? Like Ice Blade Tantalum Ray, I guess, is the thing you could do with that. Maybe you do something more serious, like, I mean, next turn he could build Blast Forge Mobile Animus if he wanted, right? Which is something I'm considering as well for my next turn. That's 9. I would have 3 left for another drone. That might be a bit too rushy. You know, with the idea of building Ice Blades. But it doesn't seem that great. Just like 2 Ice Blades per turn, your opponent handles that reasonably well by just like getting blue and building a wall per turn. Eventually, of course, you can start doing some damage, but they'll have enough walls that you can't freeze all their walls, so they're absorbing, so you're very slow 1 attack per turn. Takes a long time to start doing anything. Meanwhile, they're only investing $5 in defense so they can continue building up while you're sinking everything into Ice Blades. It doesn't seem like it's going to go well for the Ice Blade Rusher. They'll pick up some Tantalum Rays at some point and then like just start hitting you for exactly 6. Which is going to be pretty sad. So, alright, I've thought of a line that I don't think works. Great, now what? I wish my opponent would play that line, but he's not. I don't have a plan here. That, like, green seems alright, but I want some access to red so that I can, like, threaten to freeze his barriers with a Shiver Yeti or something. Maybe we could just build like a mobile animus, a conduit, and a drone. I don't want a lot of red, just a little. Maybe a chronofilter is the right idea. Right? Like, then I can get out a wall and a Shiver Yeti or something. Or let's call it a splitter and a Shiver Yeti. And then like go into green, because you want like mostly green, but a little bit of blue for defense, a little bit of red for freeze, and then mostly green is what I'm thinking. So maybe that's the idea. Chronofilter gives you a little bit of red and blue. And should this drone be a conduit? No, I think we want some more drones. Especially since we're planning to spend a lot next turn on like Splitter or Shiver Yeti or something. I do want the Shiver Yeti over the Frostbite because we're not really... I don't want to like use this to nullify a wall so much as I want to use it to... I want to deny him barriers, and that's what a Shiver Yeti will do. But I can build that later, I guess. I'll try to build a Tarsier first. And then get the conduit, right? I'll have red later when a Shiver Yeti is more impactful. Right now, I just want some attack. And like after I have one Shiver Yeti, I can sort of spend my red quite cheaply on Frostbites, which could be good. Or combine it with my blue for an Ice Blade Golem on occasion. Because having a couple Frostbites lying around will be quite good to prevent my opponent, who currently has green-blue, from going for Chieftains. And the Shiver Yeti, like I want one lying around to prevent barriers. They're just like these two lifespan units are things that could be impactful if we don't prepare to do something about them. Yeah, so maybe we'll just like drone conduit this turn. That gives us rather a lot of green coming up on a Chronofilter turn when we'll want to be spending our money on non-green things. But we, Tantalum Ray is a green sink. We can always build it when it's on the Chronofilter off turns. It's okay to accumulate green during the on turns. Okay. So we've each chosen a different way to get a little bit of blue and a little bit of red, I guess. Oh, okay, changing its mind. I think you do want a wall here, right? Letting me get that engineer kill is... Well, I guess if you built a splitter, like... then I would be holding... we would be trading engineers if I click. Nah, because yeah, I don't know, maybe. I mean, of course, I could build a Gauss Cannon next turn. Like, I could build an attacker. But I think we want a couple more drones before we get into that. And I want to save my green for Tantalum Rays, which are going to be a lot more efficient in the long term. So, just something like this. Seems fine. Our Tarsier is bumping into a wall as well as the Splitter, of course, which is not so great. But I'm probably going to want to hold my Steel Splitter next turn anyway, so there's no point building another attacker to go with the Tarsier. The Steel Splitter was built just as an advance wall that I can later turn into an attacker. And it forced my opponent to wall in response, right? It did a good job of threatening attack, even though I'm not using it. It both threatened attack and not prevented, but mitigated my opponent's threatened attack. Is it Shiver Yeti time yet? Is it Ice Blade time? I could build Ice Blade Tantalum, I guess. I could build a Chieftain. Well, I mean, that's a thing, right? With just a mobile Animus, he's gonna have trouble getting access to enough freeze in time to stop it, right? I guess, no, he doesn't mind building like a Frostbite every turn. Lifespan 3, right? Yeah, he actually won't be able to get enough to prevent this from getting value, but I don't think he'll be doing enough damage that Chieftain gets value, so it's just like sort of silly, right? So what if I get this? One Ice Blade, but he can easily add like Splitter Tantalum Ray next turn, and then click both Tantalum Rays and both Splitters to attack for 6 into this. So it's not great value. What else could I do? Shiver Yeti, Splitter? I don't know, like none of those are amazing. I think it might actually be an Ice Blade kind of day, huh? Attacking for 4 and freezing for 1 is actually kind of a big deal for him right now, because it means he's not really granular. Really, I'm only likely to attack for 3 because I don't want to click the Splitter, but if he offers me, you know, maybe I'll take it. Kind of forces him to hold his Splitter back as well, which is nice, right? Because 4 and freeze 1 threatens to kill all his defense at the moment. Can't barrier because of the Ice Blade. This seems alright. Engineer, do I want one? Probably not. So I think he's probably here building like Splitter, Tantalum Ray, Frostbite, maybe Tarsier. Splitter, Tantalum Ray is 13. Okay, so all he could fit was a Frostbite. That's a pretty good turn for him, actually. Because it threatens to take out my Ice Blade exactly if he clicks everything next turn. But if he doesn't build some kind of defense, I threaten to kill a wall with my 4 damage, which is pretty good for me. Okay. I'll freeze that instead, I guess. That's fine. That's what the Ice Blade's for. Chieftain. Interesting. If he built a Chieftain, I might commit to a mobile Animus to get more access to red. Let me build like 2 Frostbites or something. Yeah, okay. So this is the turn I thought he should make, but... It might still be inconvenient for him to actually attack with all 6 of this next turn, right? Maybe not, but... Yeah, I mean, this is not very comfortable for him, is it? I'm getting no absorb, which kind of sucks. I guess that's a thing to think about, is I could hold the Splitter to give myself 2 engineers in exchange for his drone. Seems like actually pretty good value for me, huh? And it lets me get the Tantalum Ray. So he's sort of holding his drone for no reason when we hold back the Splitter. It does argue for this drone to be an engineer, though, if we're losing... Yeah. We're not force fielding, so we don't really need to replace the drone that badly. Maybe actually another conduit is a good idea. Well, not next turn. Yeah, with this chrono filter, we're spending enough. We have enough green, I think, because this is costing us some money regularly. Yeah, 15 drones seems all right. So here we get some value by freezing Engineer. If we attack with everything, we force him to lose Rhino onto wall and then absorb 1 on wall. And since it is my chrono filter turn, it's not too uncomfortable for me to wall, and therefore click the splitter. And also, he's probably going to just kill the Ice Blade. So maybe the wall is a bit... Like, as long as I can give him only a very weak breach, I should consider not defending with wall. But I don't know. I don't have blue every turn, so if I want a wall ever, like, now is an okay turn for it. And it seems like a wall would be good to let me start attacking with my splitter. No more Ice Blades, though. He's now well positioned to deal with them. Shiver Yeti? Look at this, I guess. So if he wants, he can absorb onto the Shiver Yeti here. Or actually just not absorb at all, lose 2 walls. Click the Yeti, freezing this. Click everything, breaching me for 1 to get a Tarsier. Seems pretty tough for him to support, but I should consider that it's a possibility. Maybe I just build a barrier to prevent that from being a big deal. I could force field, which would... But I think that's an overreaction. It's already not a great play for him compared to killing the Ice Blade anyway. So I don't want to make it an even worse play and damage myself in the process. It's already bad enough that I don't think he should do it. Shiver Yeti is fine, I guess. Threatens to freeze barriers, force fields, whatever. Should it just be a Rhino, though? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Damage next turn. Yeah, 7. 7 with 2 freeze is probably better. Oh, the barrier sucks, though, because he's killing the Ice Blade, isn't he? Well, apparently not. If he wants the Shiver Yeti that badly. Alright. Okay. That's gonna be exciting. Gonna have a tough time putting together enough defense for this, aren't you? But I look forward to seeing it. Ooh, mobile animus click. That's cool. Yeah? Okay. I didn't see this coming. Maybe I should have. He probably responds by just killing my Ice Blade, of course. I guess this is about the same as freezing the wall, isn't it? Yeah. So he really only has 6 plus 2? Or he could reach me for the Tarsier if he really wants to, I think, right? Have 7 plus 2? But isn't that, it's just so hard for him, I think. I don't know, he's got me scared. Maybe I was too greedy with the barrier play last turn, huh? I do need some drones, though, I think. Well, I'm defending with drone and building drone. That's like just clear evidence that I'm silly. Yeah, when I don't have access, when I don't have regular access to blue, it is a bit much to offer him my a gambit that reaches my only absorber. He's gonna go for it again, huh? No. Yeah, all these force fields feel awful when he's doing this to me. Which I expected he was doing, but I had to, like... Maybe I should have held back the splitter as an absorber, and then I wouldn't need this drone force field business. I don't know. On the plus side, he has 4 attack, and I have, like... Well, actually, I also have 4 attack. That's not so great, is it? So what exactly is my correct freeze here? And this is fine for him. How about this? This is a bit awkward. Can I get in a Tarsier? I guess. I built a lot of defense last turn, so it's time to build some offense, I guess. Yeah, these engineers maybe should have been drones, actually, because of like the fact that he's not really attacking me. But he lost his access to blue, red, right? So that's something. We did cost him a bit here. And he doesn't mind losing the Shiver Yeti. But he would prefer to keep it. Being able... Actually, he kind of does mind. He can't replace it very easily. I was thinking it's just like a 2-health defender, but actually, like... And that is what it is for a while, but eventually the freeze will start being relevant again. And he can't really get it back. Oh my gosh, I can build double Tantalum next turn. And that should start hitting him pretty hard, right? I should have considered not clicking my Tantalum Ray. I just like clicked it on autopilot, but actually 4 damage is worse for him than 5, and I would rather save the Gauss charge for another turn. He's building an engineer, but still. Right, actually if I had done this, then like the 4 damage would be a big deal. Yeah, not clicking the Tantalum Ray would have been a much better play than what I did. Wow, barrier. You know I have Shiver Yetis, right? Okay, so this next turn is 4, 7, 9. Is 9 better than 8? I guess. What about 7? 7's a little awkward for him, but... I feel like it might be a little too late for Tarsier, and I should build... Frostbite? Probably not. Just something like this. Get a little more attack. Oh my goodness. Virus and threat protection. Windows Defender. Get out of here. Go away. Yeah, the Tarsier is a big decision. I don't know if it should be that or something else. Like, if we compare attacks, he has 8, I have 6, 7. He has 7 here, right? And I have also 7. This gets me another attacker. I also am clicking more Tantalums than he is. Well, no, it's about the same, actually. I have a Shiver Yeti, which is pretty good against his barriers, but attack numbers are similar. Drone numbers similar. I think I need to squeeze out a little bit more damage. I don't think Frostbite is really doing enough here. And a Shiver Yeti, I think, is wrong. Like, he's not presenting me that many good freeze targets. He's not going to build multiple barriers per turn. Freezing force fields is okay, but not great. And he's not building red stuff that, like, Shiver Yetis and Rhinos, which he'd be, like, kind of happy to freeze-ish. I like the looks of this. Pretty tough for him to build this Tantalum Ray, huh? Kind of needs 2 force fields. Barrier doesn't do it. Right? Isn't this just a blunder? Does he think I can't take this gambit? I think I can, right? Okay. Cool. Well, I'm glad I didn't have to follow up on that. Streak bonus. You've earned a prize for 8 consecutive wins in ranked play. What great news. We got a platinum ticket. And also, I guess, a badge. Probably, right? Pretty... like, the game was pretty close. We mirrored each other a lot. What were the key turning points in this game? My Chrono Filter versus his Blast Forge was interesting. I still don't know which of us was right. I think, though, that, like, given that the main attacker you want to build is green, and it's cheap, like, it has a relatively high tech to gold ratio, which means that saving up green to buy it is reasonable. Given that, I think that Chrono Filter is playable. Not necessarily best. Maybe Blast Forge Mobile Animus would be good. But I don't know. I kind of like this better because I was able to get it out more quickly and get, like, the Splitter and the Tarsier when I wanted them. And then after that, it was just, like, sort of okay. Got some good freeze exploits with the Ice Blade, but not sure it was right. He got up to 6 without too much trouble, I think. But we got some good exploits against him, like, you know, decent value for... Okay, this though was... The Ice Blade presented a problem for me, which was that my opponent can threaten to attack my frontline units or to not attack them, and I have to be ready for both. Which means you have to defend as though he's gonna kill, like, leave your Ice Blade alive. Which is basically, it's like over-defending, and then he responds by killing the Ice Blade. So I tried to follow a middle path here of offering him a gambit that's expensive to take, right? He has to give up a bunch, he has to give up some health on his own side. And it's just a breach for exact. When he could have gotten a breach, quote, for exact by just killing my Ice Blade, right? I get no absorb this way and I lose the barrier. I think it would have been better for him to kill the Ice Blade, but I tried to arrange things so that both plays were mediocre for him. I was surprised he went for the play he did. I feel like the Ice Blade was better, but this did put me under some serious pressure, and I had to respond with 3 force fields and like no absorbers, so, you know, was he wrong? And actually, on this turn here, I think it was much better for him to not kill the Ice Blade, because I have no absorber. And if he actually like can find a way to use his Shiver Yeti, he gets me for a Tarsier, which is pretty serious. Yeah, I don't actually know why he didn't do that. It seems like it would have been pretty good. Yeah, I don't know why I thought this was playable, actually. Like, I don't know, it costs him more health. Oh, I forgot. He has even more freeze than I realized. He could, yeah, well, he can breach me for 2, which is not really any better than breaching for 1. If he just gets the Tarsier. But if he absorbs onto Shiver Yeti here, and can click both Shiver Yetis and Rhinos and Splitters, I don't know, maybe he can't, maybe he just can't do that and defend. But it certainly looks tempting, like you get to a Tarsier. I think killing the Ice Blade was wrong anyway. He should have gone for those force fields. I don't know. This turn when I managed to squeeze in double Tantalum was pretty cool. You know, getting... This over defense costs me some money, because I'm like not harvesting these drones while they sit here as force fields. But like, I was able to use them pretty soon. It wasn't a disaster. I think it would have been a disaster if he'd actually like killed the force fields and left me with no absorber. I should have held back the Steel Splitter on that turn, I think. Like, what was he doing that was so important, right? He was, I guess he was killing a Rhino, sort of. But I think being a defender was more important. I was offering my opponent a bigger gambit than I realized. And I'm glad he didn't take it. And yeah, I mean, this breach is clearly wrong. Well, offering me the gambit, that is wrong. The excess green that I've built up by not spending green on my chrono filter turns means I can comfortably defend. And with no absorb this turn and less attack than me, like he's just in bad shape overall, I think. What I do next is unclear. Maybe a Tantalum Ray and NGs, I guess. Seems fine. Cool. Well, that was a nice... I'm glad to finish that win streak, and indeed, you can't see it, but there's a Steam achievement down here. And you guys get some numbers. Look at that. Large numbers, because they're platinum tickets. How exciting. Another platinum ticket. And 100 shards. Good heavens, we're rich. Rank 71. Nice climbing. Alright, let's go fix this badge though, right? Get over here, here. And where's my Kickstarter supporter badge? What exactly is that again? Anyway, we're not going to play another game. You guys can go if you find these badges boring. I sure would. Why is there's no search and they're just little pictures that, yeah, okay, it's this one, but fine. Okay, well, we got the silver trophy. Very exciting. I would have liked to get that a long time ago. I'm glad I have it now. All right, that's gonna do it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.